How cool is this? Can you imagine that? No. Good morning, welcome back. So we are in Banja Luka in the Republic of Srpska in Bosnia and Herzegovina. It's early in the morning, it's like 8 o'clock, which is brutally early for me. I've realized that without having a job to go to every morning, I'm a slow mover. I used to think I was a morning person. I'm a slow mover. A couple things. Today, we are gonna head to Sarajevo. I wanted to go to Sarajevo for a very long time. So when I was kind of coming up in my own a little bit, if you will, and this would have been 1991, 1990 through about 1993 is kind of when all this happened, of Yugoslavia kind of falling apart, and the Bosnian War, and the siege on Sarajevo, and all these things. I was 21 years old, 23, early 20s, and I was just starting to realize that there was more outside of my little world. And my little world being my state, my country, my views. I was just kind of coming into myself. I may be a late bloomer. But this is what I saw on the news. And so it's interesting for me to come back many years later and be able to kind of put context into what I saw on the news. I got called out on another video about me taking sides. I'm not here to take sides. Number one, I haven't lived this. I don't live it every day. I don't know what the people here go through. I'm a visitor. I would never bash a country or its people or a region. I love all these places. And three, I haven't studied it enough. So with that said, I'm not taking a side. I'm fascinated about it because this is what I saw when I was growing up and kind of seeing the world around me. And so it's a point of return in my mind. So with that, we need to do a couple things. One, we're not checked out yet because I found a nail in the back of my tire. So yesterday I noticed my tire was really low. And I just aired it up, and I probably should have done something about it, but I just like, you know what, let's air it up and let's go with it, right? We're good. And it held. But I could see throughout the day that I was losing about a pound and a half of pressure every hour. So I was like, I got a slow leak. So got to my place, figured out that I have a nail in my tire. So you can see right there, that's my nail. I have never plugged a tire. And so I started watching YouTube channels, right? YouTube videos of how to plug a tire, and it seems easy. And so with that, we are going to plug a tire for the first time in my life. The other thing is, it's better to try your first time at our guest house on a level, right? It's level ground. And I don't have cars rushing by me. This is probably the best place to learn how to plug a tire. So I actually have two types of kits. One is like a mushroom plug, and they say it's not as good. So I think we're gonna go with the sticky kind of plug tile. So we're gonna try this. So God, I'm so nervous. Now mind you, there's an adventure motorcycle coffee shop about a mile away. And right next to it is a motorcycle repair. So if this goes south quickly, I can go there and get this fixed. So let's dive in and do this. Oh my God, what am I doing? That's it. You can hear the air coming out. It's okay, I got a pump. But that little thing, next they say is to ream it and clean it out, and they say it's gonna be tough. They were not kidding. Okay, guess they do that 2 or 3 times, because that gives enough room for the plug and the tool to actually go in. So now, I think it is, whoa, these are sticky. This has got to be sticky to work, huh? take one of these and thread it through the little threading tool. So far it's all working. Use the rubber cement to goop it on. Push in about halfway, and then from there, pull out quickly. Holy smokes. Pull out quickly. We'll see how quickly this goes. Oh shit, that wasn't bad. And then they say you really want to cut these extra pieces because if you're going down the road, it actually, there's I guess a theory, I don't know, that this could encourage it to pull out because you could get stuck on something like that. So let's cut this down. That was easy. My first plug tire, that was actually a lot easier than I thought. They say give it about 30 minutes to let all the glue and all that kind of seal itself and settle in and all that. Okay, the 30 minutes are up. Looks like it's dried. Back on, but it looks kind of sticky, but not bad. Let's air this up and see if this holds. Before I do, I gotta tell you a story. When I was a kid, my dad was pretty handy and had an absolute garage full of tools and all kinds of stuff. And he was changing my brakes one time on my little Datsun car. It's my first car I ever had. That thing was a piece of junk. He was fixing my brakes. He said, Steve, come out here and help me change your brakes. You need to learn how to do this someday. And I was out there and I'm holding the flashlight at the wrong angle and he's asking for a wrench and I'm giving him a screwdriver. It was awful. And I looked at my dad and said, Dad, let's be honest. It's just gonna be easier and way faster for everybody if I just work a few extra hours at my current, whatever job I was gonna have as an adult, and then pay somebody to change my brakes. One, it's gonna be faster. I'm gonna work 2 or 3 hours. Somebody else is gonna work probably an hour, right? 4 hours collectively to change that. Versus if I did it myself, it would take me all day to do it. And then I would screw it up. And then I would end up having to go pay somebody 5 times the price to undo what I did and then do it right. So I am not mechanically inclined. So if this works, I'm gonna be so impressed. Let's air this up. I actually think it's gonna work. If it works, I'm gonna be so goddamn impressed with myself. I'm not even able to stand it. So what we're gonna do now is, there's a little coffee shop called, I think it's Adventure Overland or Adventure Moto Coffee, and it's right next door to a mechanic. So one, I need coffee because the place I stayed at didn't have a water boiler or a kettle, and so I drank cold coffee and it was okay, but it just doesn't do enough for a good cup of hot coffee. So we're gonna go get coffee real quick, and it also gives me an opportunity to ride the bike for a mile or two and to make sure that that's going to stick at pseudo high speed, right? 30, 40 kilometers, 50 kilometers an hour. But gives me that opportunity just to check. So let's go get coffee. Hey puppy. Hey sweetie. Hi. So you can see it's called Adventurer Transit Cafe next to Adventure Moto Shop. So let's go get coffee because we need it. Coffee was definitely in order. I got a double espresso and I got to meet a little buddy. Hey bud. Such a little sweetheart. Wow, how cool is this? So kind of a cool place. Anyway, finish this and let's get on the road. Okay, so today is just a day for us to get to Sarajevo. And so we've got a little bit of a ride. We should get there at a decent time because there's some things I want to see in Sarajevo. So let's go.
into Sarajevo, and you can definitely tell we are coming into the city, man. Look at all those buildings. So we're gonna get off because that is kind of a freeway. And so we are going to get off for a second and just pull over because there's a couple things I want to go see. And I got to put it into the map. I'm glad I pulled over and put in the map because what I want to go see is has nothing to do with being in the city right now, which makes sense because I want to go see parts of the Olympic Village. That's what I wanted to come see. Look at that. So this is one of the stops that I wanted to come see while we're in Sarajevo. So this is behind me, the ski jump from the 1984 Winter Olympics. So what's cool about it is they've kept a little bit of the kind of the infrastructure from 40 years ago, which is the ski jump here. So a couple cool things about this. One, it was the first Olympic Games ever held in a Slavic country. So that's pretty kind of cool. And two, it was only the second time in history of the Olympics being held in a communist country, because this was former Yugoslavia. And it was on the heels of the 1980 Olympic Games, Summer Olympics, held in Moscow. So we're on the spectator stands, and you can see behind me are the actual jumps. How cool is this? Can you imagine that? No. I'm telling you now, there's no way would I fly off that. I'm impressed. This is so cool. Couple other things about the Olympics, the Winter Olympics here, is with the Olympics back in '84, it really kind of kickstarted a lot of winter sports in Yugoslavia, and it started to take off. And only this is '84, but then the Bosnian War in '82 really had just a terrible impact on this country, and it kind of shut down a lot of those kind of extracurricular activities and sports, and it really hampered the development. But I got a couple more things. I got one more thing here. Look at this. This is the medal stand. So you can see one, two, and three, right where they would stand and get their medals. Hey, you can't tell me this isn't cool. And two, I'm not gonna lie, I am now standing on the first place podium. Very cool. We are gonna go try to find one more thing. It's a cousin to the ski jumps here. So when I say cousin, one, a little bit more infamous. It's probably a little bit more known than this place. Two, I say cousin, it's under the main family, in the family of winter sports, but it's not a brother or sister because it's not having to do a thing about skis. So let's go find its more infamous cousin. That's it. That's what I wanted to see. So we came to see. That's cool. That's really cool. So this is the other place that I wanted to come see. This is the distant cousin to the ski jump. And this is the 1984 Olympic bobsled run. And so how cool is this? So when Sarajevo was awarded the Olympics, they started building the bobsled and the luge run. I'll walk you through the luge run here in a minute. But it was an absolute stunning success for this country. It brought in a ton of development, a ton of international press, and really put Yugoslavia on, and Sarajevo kind of in the international stage. And it was a resounding success for the country. Unfortunately, with the fall of Yugoslavia and then the Bosnian War, this fell into disrepair, and it was actually used by Bosnian forces as a shield or a protection. So there are a ton of bullet holes and puck marks in it, and it is no longer used. It's currently used by people who take walks. It's in the mountains, so it's stunningly beautiful. I have heard that there are mountain bikers going down this. Crazy, because this is steep. And it's used by local graffiti artists. But look at this, how cool is this? And I'm kind of at the apex of one of these big turns, and this turn does a big 180. It comes from this way and goes right around and goes that way. Where I'm at, you can kind of see I'm at this front wall, but this wall behind me is probably 20 feet up. And so you can imagine a bobsled going down this thing at 100 miles an hour. This is cool. But the other thing is, we are on the luge track, and it's only, I don't know, 5 feet wide or so, but it is right behind or right next to the bobsled track as well. Very cool. I think this is a cool one, I gotta admit. Given its success in 1984 for the country, they are actually starting to rebuild this to not only use, obviously not unless they get the Olympics, but to use for other championships, national championships, and also international competitions in bobsled. So they are trying to rebuild. Very cool. I think it's a cool one. So we're at the top of the hill. And I don't call it kind of the Olympic Village per se, but there's a nice hotel up here. There's a restaurant here. There's parking, little park area, kind of information boards. And so, you know what? I think I'm gonna end today's video here. This is such a cool place. And it's in the mountains, which I absolutely love. And you can hear the birds. And it's just so stunning. So I think I'm gonna end this one here. I love today. I love going through the Republic of Srpska. I love coming to Sarajevo. I love seeing the Olympic infrastructure. I just thought it was really cool. I hope you guys liked it. And if you want to join me on the rest of the adventures, click the subscribe button below, and I will see you guys later. See ya. So, postscript. I got it. I almost forgot to tell you guys. So my plug worked. Did not lose any air at all. And you can actually see it is still intact. Go us. So pretty excited about that.